Hello again, 30 Minutes Missions fans. Today we have the chassis eEXM-30, known as the Espossito B. One would assume it's Esposito, Esposito. It doesn't matter. 144 scale, so it goes with your high grades or your real grades. And then we got some promo images here. Normal mode, there's a swing hip down, and number 40 in the overall 30 Minutes Missions lineup. Oh, there's a flight mode. No glue required. I would recommend some side cutters though, otherwise you're going to have a lot of like stress marks. Let's just take a quick look at the plastics. Having built a few of these now, I find you can build the model in between 30 to 45 minutes. But then I take an extra 10-15 minutes putting on stickers. In particular, I just put the model kit number, so I'll put 40 on this. Assuming, I don't even know if this comes with stickers though. Only the early ones came with a sticker set, it seems. These latter ones, they're cheaping out, unfortunately. Yeah, there's no stickers on this, so that's too bad. Okay, well, the instructions here, you just need to be able to read some arrows and numbers and you can put it together. But this is a story about Espossitos. Alright. And it's got all these 3mm holes, so you can peg in a bunch of different components. You can mix and match parts with other Bandai products, you know, beyond 30 Minutes Mission stuff. And there are the parts if you want to check that they're on the runners. Okay. Alright, well, as usual, I'm going to fast forward, put it to some music, and we'll get back to you at the end of this, and I'll discuss any problems I might run into. Okay, well, it took around 30 minutes. This is an extremely simple build. It's, yeah, a very simple robot, actually. There are no difficulties whatsoever. Having built so many of these now, I'm putting the hips on backwards. They want you to always have the thicker dome up front, but I think it gets in the way, right, of this right here. So I like to put them on backwards. All right, so let's do a little quick articulation here. All right, the head goes back quite a bit. That's usually not the case, but it doesn't go forward much at all, even with the neck pivot. Look how far back it goes. It's crazy. But yeah, forward not so much. It's quite an interesting head, how it has, the bisected canopy here. I had stickers from 3 other different sets, so that's why I have 40 on this thing now. Alright, the shoulders are typical. They do butterfly out with that piece there. And then there's a polycap in there so you could rotate it around. This shoulder armor rotates on the shoulder itself, and it can actually pivot up like that. And then this blue piece will actually pivot up off of the shoulder piece armor. So there's like 3 points right there. 1, 2, 3 or something. Okay, so that's neat. And then there's a hinge here for the shoulder itself. And then there's a peg here so you can rotate the whole bicep area. And then there's a hinge for the forearm. And look at that. That's a great bend because it's such a slender robot. And so, unfortunately, well, there we go. Never mind. It's okay. You can actually get the whole arm up in that shoulder armor. Sometimes it collides, but this one seems to fit okay. So that's really cool. The hand has a long enough peg that it can get some good articulation as well. If you want to swap back plates of hands, you can, but these are just gray all around. Okay, so now up here we have a polycap. Now, the issue is it's going to fall out very easily, I think, but there's no way you can trap it in there really. So that's unfortunate. But one other thing I haven't seen before is there's a C-clip hinge up right here where I'm pointing. So that whole thing can bend back quite a bit. And that becomes part of the transformation mode, which we'll get into later. But yeah, so this thing can bend unnaturally back quite a bit. And it can bend a little bit forward. It's a combination of that polycap, but the armor collides there. And then there's a polycap down here. And yeah, you can get it, if you lift it up, you can get more movement there, or push it back down. So obviously you can rotate that, being a sphere polycap down there as well. So this being a polycap here, you can get some side-to-side swinging quite a bit. It's such a slender torso, it's really weird looking, but it's different. It's different from the other ones. As you saw, this giant thigh shield here, it's just on a 3mm peg, and so it's on that, but that white piece it's just pegged onto is on a hinge, so you can bring out the legs. But yeah, you can rotate both, that white thing and that thing in it, so yeah, alright, so now the drop down of the leg, you can see this little slot piece here, so you can move it very far forward or you can move it very back, and now you can see the difference of the pivot points here that those spheres are on. And so that allows quite a bit of articulation. Unfortunately, this polycap just fell out, Unfortunately, these polycaps generally don't go into sphere holes. They just go into round holes. And so only one part of the sphere is actually gripping instead of a larger surface of it. So that's too bad. But yeah, that's that's crazy, right? Okay, so, and then you can obviously just drop it down vertically, and you can raise the height of the person or have them shorter. See the foot height difference now? So, okay, so now that sphere will rotate on a peg on that drop down, and so you can swing it all back that far or that forward. We saw even kicking up, high stepping there, a little high kicking. But if you do want a high step, you got a double hinge here. Look at that. So that's pretty good. And then it blends in nicely with when it's closed, this knee piece. And there's a C-clip. You can put stuff on there as well if you happen to have extra C-clips, but this one doesn't have any extras. And so now at the bottom of the foot, there's a C-clip here, and so this thing will rock the foot totally unnaturally outwards and inwards. But you see the polycap again on the end of that C-clip. It just, you know, doesn't grip this so much. Now this one actually is domed, but there's no like ledge where it snaps in that I can feel. So unfortunately, it just comes out very easily. It's too bad. It doesn't really trap the sphere of the polycap. But yeah, with the totally unnatural leg bend, let's see, get that like that, get this like this, and then bring these, move that side armor up. Let's get this out of the way. This might be the most Jean-Claude Van Damme one I have. Let's see. Polycap fell out though. Maybe if we bring these vertical. I'm afraid of bending that drop down. Alright. And then yeah, so sadly nothing's trapping the back of this. It would be ideal if there was something that pegged into this that tied into this white piece up front. The only thing I can really think of is putting a zip tie around this whole thing so the thing doesn't fall out, but that would look really unnaturally weird. Anyway, so that is definitely the most Jean-Claude Van Damme of the 30-minute missions. I mean, that's insane. It's just it's so weird looking, but you know, these are toys, toy kind of action figure model kits kind of thing, so I think it's interesting that you can do that. Alright, so put that back. Alright, yeah, it's a very slender robot for sure. These ankles are a problem. How they just fall out so easily. It's gonna be hard to pose this guy in an easy way. Yeah, see, the other foot now fell out, so it's really too bad. The head doesn't want to come very forward. It's saying these things are supposed to be guns. So that goes in there. That goes in there. And they do have a slot for other weapons to peg their barrels into, but this doesn't have any. So, kind of like gun sword looking things. So unfortunately, actually, now that I think of it, the foot really can't come forward too much because it collides with this white piece. So it only comes forward if you actually avoid that thing. Well, no, actually not so much. It doesn't. So this foot is actually just not very good for articulation. Look, it barely goes more than 90 degrees. So that's too bad. Really the foot should just be taller and come down so it can clear more, but no. So this is a poorly designed foot, sadly. Yep, that fell out now again too. Yeah, I'm afraid you're not going to get very great poses out of this thing without it falling apart 10 times. So that's too bad. Alright, I'm going to leave those off. So that's that. Plenty of pegging points, so I guess you can move these shields really to all sorts of weird places. Look at this one. Alright. Alright. Let's see if we can put it on the front somewhere. Will it fit in there? No, that gets in the way. It's a little too long for this way, but maybe this way. Yeah, alright, interesting. We're naturally on the side of the arms, it might work well. It could work on the side of the gun, actually, there. Side of the arms. So yeah, the shields actually, considering how big they are, they actually fit pretty well everywhere. It's interesting how it blends with that gun. And then with these little articulating shoulder pads, they could almost become wings. Right? So that's actually interesting. You just gotta play around with these things, you know? That's the fun of it. That's why it has all these holes and stuff like that. So I kept the instructions up because there's the flight mode still. So let's try to figure this out. Remove these. Remove these. Alright. So that's why this thing has a C-clip up in here. This thing comes like this. So I guess it just lays down like that. And I guess you gotta twist the legs around upside down. No, that's not right. This just goes like this. Oh, but the foot flips around backwards. So like that. Flip their foot around backwards. Make this go up and over. Fill in this gap. Interesting. Now the arm is supposed to come back. And I guess just hang out like that. Alright. Now you have these two extra parts here. They go into the holes right here. And then these little gun things go into those. Alright. And then let's go. Oh, these purple things on the shoulders pop forward. And then these little blade shield things go onto those like this. Okay, so that is supposed to be the flight mode. I don't know if that looks like anything that should be flying though, in my opinion. It looks like a strange dog. Yeah, it's not my thing. But you can obviously move these things all over the place, right? That, there. Really, I kind of think it makes sense if these were like wings. Let's see if I can fit these anywhere else. At least you can grab this thing here, twist it out. I want them to go like up here somewhere. Oh, right here maybe. I think I actually like that better. Or even twist this to be like a wing. Right? Something like that. Although this doesn't make sense having those things there. Yeah, alright, see, now that kind of looks almost more plain-like. Alright, well, suffice to say, you can play with this for quite a bit, more than actually probably the assembly time of it. My feet are backwards. And it's just, yeah, these polycaps, since they're not trapped or captured by the joints, they tend to be annoying, you know, when it comes to posing this thing. So that's just something to be mindful of most, if not all, 30-minute missions. Robots. Yeah, this actually looks cool like this. Yeah. Doesn't have any traditional looking guns though. These just don't look like guns to me. But so after fiddling around with it some more, I would have to say this is probably the worst of my 30-minute missions robots. Mainly Those two are really bad. If you can't bend your foot forward, you can't crouch forward or lean forward like gun holding positions do. So really bad. And then several of them have that whole polycap up here in the upper torso falling out. So that's pretty common. But this is uncommon, that lack of articulation forward. So it's not for me really, but maybe it's for you. And again, you can take, even if you don't like this robot, you can take parts of it and just mash it together with a different robot, which I'm going to do eventually when I'm done building all these different chassis. Thanks for checking this video out today. We'll see you the next time around.